Hi, everyone. This is Brittnee Bonds, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am reporting live from this beautiful villa that my friend invited me to in Ubud, which is in Bali. Um, it's such a fun. If you listen to my last podcast, you understand like where my life has been at recently. And when I made the decision to come here to Bali, I was just like a full body yes, right? Well, let's talk about all the things that have happened in the last week so you can understand the chaos that has been Brittnee Bond's life and also all the beautiful adventures and drama and all the things, including a juicy love story that has happened and unfolded for me in the last week. So let's dive right into the episode. To catch you up just on general life things. So in my last podcast, I shared about how I thought I was going to host a New Year's Eve party, and then I decided I was feeling resistance to hosting it, and then my friend Daria invited me to come out to Bali to this beautiful villa and meet all these amazing people, and just her and I like play, have an adventure in Bali together, and also do business stuff together here, and it was just a full body yes for me to come. But then the journey to get here has been so dramatic and so many twists and turns for me to actually arrive here in Bali. And if you ask my friend Daria, she says it was like my final test for 2024 of like, do I actually want to be here? Do I want the energetic upgrades? Because if you feel like it's a full body yes to do something and then you're still getting like all these tests, it's usually the universe asking you, do you really want it? Are you ready for this vibrational upgrade? Because you need to have that space in your energy field to be able to receive all the beautiful things that the universe is trying to give you next, right? So it's not necessarily that you're not meant to do it. It's just that you have to be ready for all the things that are coming next. And it's been a lot of tests and trials and challenges and obstacles, and I'm going to share all of them with you. And I made it, and in the end it was all good, but it was like such a fucking roller coaster. But to get you to the point where you're sitting here with me and caught up on my life, I have to share with you some stuff around men that has been going on in my life. And I love talking about this. Like, this is what I coach people on. I love talking about coaching people on relationships because I'm here for all about, like, how do we have healthy relationships? Like, I really feel like this is part of my soul calling. This is also why I love hosting my play parties, because I really feel at the end of the day, we're all just trying to figure out how to connect to each other in a way that is nourishing for us and that's safe and it feels really yummy in our bodies, like on a physical level, energetic level, a sexual level. I guess that's physical, emotional level. That's what I meant. All the things. And so I just view all of us as these like puzzle pieces, and we're just trying to fit together, find out how we all fit together in a fun way, make it fun, playful, and also healing, right? All the things. So, I went through a major breakup this year, yeah? Like, I think that's been pretty much all over social media. And I feel like I've shared pretty openly about my process with it, and it hasn't been as easy. It's been really rough for me. I thought the last person I dated was going to be like the father of my children, like that's like energetically what I thought was going to happen. And then it didn't happen, and that's okay. And I processed it. And now that I'm a completely a different person than I was 6 months ago when that relationship ended. And I feel so much more in my power. I feel so much more on my path of like my highest timeline, like the life that my soul has planned for me. The beautiful, abundant, connected, adventurous, sexy life, that the universe has destined for me. But it's for us to choose whether we want to go down that path in a playful, fun way, or if we're going to wait another lifetime to go down it, or, what are we going to do? How are we meant to follow our destiny? And so that's why, like, I don't believe, like, we have everything set in our life as destiny. We get to choose the adventure of how it goes down. And since I had my last breakup, I really chose to step into this really fun timeline where everything is working out in the highest way, like the most fun way, the most abundant way. And I just it's just like things are happening so quickly, right? So I'm trying to get this vibration into you that like I'm very grateful for the breakup, because I feel that I wasn't on the path that I was meant to be on, like within my own personal life. And since then, I've just kind of like unleashed. That's one thing about a woman really stepping into her anger and like really stepping into like setting her boundaries of like what she's like allowing into her life and what she deserves, and like really owning that the universe is like, yeah, okay, so you've learned this lesson. So now we're going to give you some more abundance. We're going to give you the thing that you've always desired, this beautiful life that you've always wanted. And so now, like me being the person that I am now, there's no way that I'm like a literally a different person. And I would never have children with my ex-boyfriend. That's what's so funny now. It's like, if you're in a breakup right now, or you're going through a tough time with your partner, I just want you to know that like life can change so fast, and you can change so fast, and you can wake up like pretty soon after a pretty terrible breakup. Not pretty soon. I mean, it's been 6 months, right? But in this grand span life, you know, in the timeline, it's actually pretty quickly. I am just so grateful for all of the experiences, and of course still have some pain, you know, like we're human, we're going through it. But I feel like these days my vibrational reality is open for new love, and it's open for more clear, like I know more clearly who I would like to share my life with. And also I'm really happy being single. Like I feel very full with my soul family and my, you know, my sex positive community, and all of the adventures that I go on, and all the people I meet, and I just like all the projects I'm working on, like hanging out with Afro, going to the gym. Like there's so much, like honestly, there's just so much in my life going on in a positive way right now that I have a hard time even messaging my friends back, because I'm just like, and now I'm in this country, and now I'm going here. So what I'm trying to say is I have vibrational space for a new love. This is what I've realized recently. Because for a while I was holding this, I think I shared in a podcast in the past where I was like, I choose to have a certain financial goal and career goals met before I want to have my partner in my life. And I had a couple of my friends and coaches like tell me like, Brittnee, that's great, like if that's really what you want to do, but I wonder if there's a limiting belief here, because what they were bringing to my attention was like, you're basically saying that a relationship is going to take the things that you want away from you, or going to block you or slow you down from accomplishing the things that you want in this life. And relationships have the potential to actually create a lot of support for us and create a lot of more energy. You know, like if you're in a really healthy partnership, they have your back, they're showing up for you, they're making your life exponentially better. And so it's like actually a really positive thing to be in a relationship if you choose to be in a relationship with someone who is meeting your standards and your needs and showing up for you. Because, and I say all of these things with like kind of this assumption that you understand that like me in relationships is I am like like I have been a wife for 6 years. Like I actually love being in relationships. I love showing up. Like everything I'm asking for in a relationship, I am willing to give back, and I give back like 1,000%. So like I have so much energy to give, and love and support and nourishment, and my feminine yummy energy and my sexual energy. Like I have all of this to give, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I choose to be met in this. And also I choose for this person to be really supportive of the life that I'm building. And, you know, their energy in my life gives me more energy to accomplish all the things that I'm excited for, right? So I have clarified this manifestation, and it feels really good, you know? And so I shared in my last podcast about my friend Sasha coming to visit, and he's someone who, if you haven't heard the last podcast, he's like someone who was in my friend group when I first started the play parties like 3.5 years ago, and he lived on the island. He lived on Koh Phangan, with me and my friends, and I had just got out of a relationship where I was dating a man and a woman at the same time. We were having a little triad situation, and so I was just kind of like still processing that. These people were still my really good friends, but we just decided to not be lovers anymore. And this is what I loved about this friend group, was like everyone was kind of dating everyone in our friend group, and we were all supporting each other. It was kind of like this polyamorous bubble that we were in, but it felt more like a soul family polyamorous bubble, like a tribe. You know, like we all showed up for each other. If someone was sleeping with someone, we'd just all talk about it, and then at the end of the day, we were just like there for each other, and we had each other's back, and we were always like having so much fun. Like we'd like never wanted to. There was like 10 or 15 of us, and like every single day we were all hanging out, and like you could just come and go from this bubble if you needed to go do something. But a lot of times we just like worked. We all work online or whatever, and then like we'd all work together, play together, cuddle, do all the things. So Sasha was in this friend group, and he went back to San Francisco because he's works in biotech, and he needed to go back to work. Like he quit back then because he wanted to just start a new life. But then he realized, I went to school for many, many years. I actually really like he likes his industry, but he's just like wants to have more freedom. I think we all do within like where he lives and traveling and stuff. So anyways, he went back to that life. And then now he has been out for a week on the islands with me. And this is what I want to say about Sasha. Having him in my life right now has been such a blessing. Sasha, if you're listening to this, I love you. I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And I feel like he is such a divine masculine. And, you know, last time I said in my last podcast, like last time he was on the island, he was kind of in fuckboy energy where, you know, it was his first time to the island, and he was like in this little Peter Pan mode where he wanted to just try everything and wasn't really honoring that these were like humans that he was having, you know, connections with. It was just kind of like, I just want to try everything in the candy shop. I want to try all the ice cream flavors, and not really doing his best to protect the hearts of everyone involved. And this time around, he's completely grown up, like 3 years later. I mean, he's 36 now, but like energetically, I mean, emotionally, he's really grown a lot. And he's just like, I want a kid. I want to be like, you know, I'm into dating people, but like I'm here to protect people's hearts, and I want to be in a monogamous relationship with the right person. And until then, I'm happy to date around, but like I'm also going to like protect everyone's hearts who I'm connected to. And because him and I have never been we never have been in a romantic dynamic, that's just not the vibe between us, but we have like such strong love for each other. So I feel like platonically we date each other, you know, like when he was on the island with me, we were hanging out every single day. He'd be like, okay, when are we going to go to the gym? And then we'd go to the gym together, and he'd like train me, and like he was always like, you're so sexy, and like encouraging me, like, you can do it, keep going, I got your back, and then like showing me how to use different equipment and teaching me things, which I love. And I just felt like so in my feminine because he was kind of handling my 3D reality. And, you know, and then we just kind of like go off and do our own things, and then meet up for sunset. And then like usually we'd end up back at my villa, and like I'd invite other friends over, and we just do like a big cuddle puddle co-regulation. We'd all share about how our day was, and one big blob of humans on the mattresses by the pool overlooking the jungle. And it's just like, what is life? I'm so grateful for my life. But the thing that I want to share is that like being in his energy, like so platonically, I felt like we were like in a relationship this last week, in the sense that he really used his masculine energy to show up for me, like protect me and provide for me. So he would do things like always checking in with me, how I'm feeling, making sure I had food, like bringing me food, training me at the gym. And then anytime I was sharing about a guy I was interested in, he was like, okay, like, how can I help you with this? How can I show up for you? One time we were at a static dance, and I was like pointing out a guy I found attractive, and he like called him over and brought him over and like introduced him to me. And I was like, Sasha, you didn't have to do that. And he's like, I'll always be your wingman. And we just like cuddle so much, and we're always like kissing each other. And it's just funny because like when we were at the dance, that time, like he was saying, you know, Brittnee, on the outside, people probably think we're dating. And I was like, I really wish that people would allow themselves to have more platonic relationships where there's a lot of intimacy, because we put a lot of this into the box of, being in a monogamous relationship. And then if you're like friends with a guy or you're friends with a woman, um it's like, oh, are we in a relationship? Does she like me? Does she not like me? And I'm like, I feel like this is what tribe is like when we are able to have these kind of platonic relationships where we are showing up for each other as divine masculine and divine feminine without being in a romantic relationship. We're kind of in training. We're like allowing ourselves to go to the gym for relationships, because there was a lot of things that came up within, like for instance, I was bringing up stuff with Sasha about like men I was interested in, and then he would sit there and be like, Brittnee, from a man's perspective, this is probably what this guy is thinking about you, or like this is probably what's happening. And I was like, okay, so like if as a guy, like how would you want me to? I was asking him for advice basically, like. And I love this because, I have my opinion. I have my, I have done a lot of research on what I think men want, but he's a man and he's like someone that I really value his opinion, and he's sitting right in front of me willing to give it to me. So why wouldn't I listen to it? And so it was just really beautiful because I was like, well, what would you want me to say if you were him in that situation? And he was like, okay, well, it would make me feel like really in my masculine if you were soft and you invited me into the situation, or you were just like, hey, I need help, like, and allow the other guy that we were talking about to like show up. And it was just beautiful because for me, I was like, okay, yeah, I didn't think about this perspective, especially when you're like in a situation where, you're emotionally triggered or whatever. It's really nice to have backup in that way, because if I talk to my girlfriends, they're probably going to say whatever they would want from a woman's perspective, right? The feminine perspective. And then I think in the other way, there was a couple situations where he was like, women were into him, but he wasn't into them. And then he didn't want to talk to them about it. And I was like, but you're going to hurt. He was like, I don't want to hurt their feelings by telling them that I don't want to be with them. I'm like, but you're hurting their feelings already because they keep trying to hang out with you and you're not really communicating why you don't want to hang out with them in that way. It's like, as the masculine, us women really want the men in our life to like take the lead on these kind of conversations that are hard, but it helps us to be in our feminine because then we can just be in our feelings. So if they're willing to like take the lead and hold the container so that we can just be in our emotions, it's such a yummy feeling for a woman. And it's like, makes a woman really honor and respect you and admire you even more. And he was like, oh, wow. And I said, but yeah, do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to go do it. And then we like talked about it after, and we supported each other and just like stuff like this, and he's so good at words of affirmation. And this is something that I was raised with, just like my mom giving me a lot of affirmations. And it's interesting because it's not a need for me to receive this within my relationships. Like I do my best to like fulfill this need for myself. And also I will tell you from an energetic standpoint, like as a woman, my preference, so this is me as a woman, but I'm sure honestly most women would love this, like receiving a lot of words of affirmations from Sasha this week, just like I was trying to do like 5 different gestures at once. I was like I just felt so in my feminine. I felt so like yummy and gooey, and he was just like, you're so beautiful. Like he would just like all the time be like, wow, Brittnee, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're so in shape, I'm so proud of you, like that you did this, all these reps and like and all this stuff. And I was just like, and he wasn't doing it to like, it wasn't out of a scarcity energy that he was giving me these compliments because we weren't sleeping together. He wasn't trying to get anything out of me. He was just like, I just love you and I want to appreciate you like as someone that I love in my life. And it just filled me up with like such gooey, yummy energy. And I'm just saying all of this because I'm really grateful for it. And also that this is kind of my standard. And I'm noticing this, that like the men I'm attracting into my life now as friends, even, they're meeting this standard of like, I will use my masculine energy to like show up for you. Like I had another friend come over. He just offered, I posted in my community chat, like, hey, the Let's Play party, someone like broke the doorknob on my bathroom door. I don't even know how that happened. Like the doorknob fell off. And don't worry, no one was hurt during this. It was just like a funny thing that happened like even before the play party even started. And I have like a married couple that takes care of my villa, like husband and wife, and they're just on holiday now because it's New Year's. And so I put into the community chat like, hey, does anyone know a handyman, or can someone help me with my doorknob? And I had another friend of mine who was a guy just be like, I can come over like immediately and help you fix this. And he came over on a Sunday morning. I took a shower and he like fixed my doorknob in my bathroom, and we just like hung out, and then afterwards we cuddled. And like, again, there's nothing, we're not romantic with each other. I've never even kissed this person. It's just that we just love each other, and he loves showing up for me. And like, he ended up not being able to fix it the first time around. And then like on his own accord, he like checked up on me a couple days later and was like, hey, I want to come over now and see if I can fix it again. And like, how are you doing? How else can I show up for you? Like, you're a goddess, and like, you're so sexy, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, this is the energy that I deserve. And I'm very grateful. And of course, like in return, I'm giving them my really yummy feminine energy of like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And like, just nourishment and support and touch. And this is what fills men up. This is what makes them feel really yummy in their bodies and appreciated and valued. And like men really need to feel that their existence in this world makes your life better. Because that means that their existence matters. Like if they can show up and like be there for the people that they love, and like fend for and protect and provide the people that they love in their life, wow, it really gives power to the man. And if you're a man who's in a mode right now where you want absolutely no responsibility and you want freedom, I'm telling you that the best way you're actually going to get freedom is to pick. It's not, you don't need to take care of the whole world, but pick a couple people in your life that you really love, especially women. This can be women friends, this can be your relatives, like your mom or your sisters, and choose to take responsibility for them. And by that I mean really like ask them, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How can I show up for you? How can I use my energy to protect and provide for you? And when you do this, you will actually feel more free, because you're using your energy in a way that feels good in your body, and it's giving you more energy to go out in the world and do whatever you're excited to do. So anyways, having all these men in my life and me allowing myself to receive this energy, I had this moment. It's funny because I can really feel my energy so strongly, and like I'm very connected to it. And I had this moment the other day. This was probably like Thursday, where I was like, wow, it would be so beautiful to have this, but also feel like really attracted to the person physically and really want to like merge my soul with them. Because basically these other men in my life right now, like emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually, we're all very connected. But for some of them, I'm just like not physically attracted to them in that way. And for other of them, it's just, there just isn't enough of a, you need to have enough of a polarity and like this kind of like energy friction, because this is what gets you excited to be in a relationship with someone. And some people can call that passion. Some people call that trauma bonding. But I'm talking about when you see someone and you're excited and you still feel safe. If you see someone, like if you meet someone and you're excited, you feel these butterflies in your stomach, but you feel anxious at the same time, that's trauma bonding. That is like we need to go get therapy, or we need to at least acknowledge it's happening. Because usually when you can speak it out loud. I had someone when I first got back to the island from the States, where I met this man. And I felt excited and anxious at the same time when I met him. And I said to him, I spoke it to him. We had, a couple conversations, and I was like, there's something in my nervous system that's being really activated around you. And I don't really know why. And like, are you open to having this conversation? Because we were friends, and he was like, yeah, I'm open to it. And eventually I figured it out. It was that he was saying all the right things, but he wasn't actually dropped into his body. He wasn't embodied. He wasn't literally feeling himself. So it was like I was connecting with a wall, but his intellectual mind was speaking all the things that I thought I wanted to hear, but I didn't feel safe because I couldn't feel him. I felt like I was hugging or energetically connecting with a robot, like a wall or a robot. There wasn't any emotion there. So that's very similar to how it was with my father growing up. So that's why it's a trauma bond. Trauma. Usually when someone is triggering you, the best thing to ask yourself if you're trying to heal it is, what am I feeling right now? Okay. I'm feeling anxious. I feel disconnected. I feel unsafe. So I'm talking about like me with this guy who I met when I first got back to the island from the States this summer. And then ask yourself, who does this person remind me of from my childhood? Because this is where the trauma happens. It usually happens when we're young. And for me, it was like, oh, this is exactly how I felt around my dad growing up. Okay, so this wants to be healed. Like something, like we get these people attracted into our lives because it's like our psyche wants to heal these different versions and have what's called a corrective experience. And having a corrective experience means like I feel like your body is activated enough that you are recognizing that you have this original trauma, which is usually connected to a negative belief. Like for me, it was like that I had to still stay in these relationships or connections with men, even when I felt energetically unsafe. Because when I was growing up, I had to stay in that relationship with my dad because I was a child and I was literally relying on him for my physical survival. So the negative belief was that I had to just put up with it, you know, and that's what I've done in many of, or at least my last relationship, where I felt emotionally not safe or energetically out of alignment, or we just weren't in alignment, you know, but I was just like staying and trying to make it work. And a corrective experience is when you get activated to that point where you're recognizing consciously this trauma, and then you choose to have a better outcome than it was when you were a kid. And so for me, having a corrective experience, one was like my breakup, where I recognized, oh, this is what's happening. I'm in a situation where my emotional needs are not getting met. Someone is treating me really terribly and gaslighting me. And I don't want to do this anymore. I don't have to be here. Like they can just move out of my house. We don't have to be in connection anymore. And then when I got back, it's funny because when I got back to the island immediately after that, like after leaving for 3 months, I was mostly gone all summer. I got back and I connected with a man, and he was like literally the same energy as my last partner. And, you know, has a big following on social media and is very successful in the 3D and was saying all the right things, but I couldn't feel him and he wasn't in his body. And you know, and it was almost like he was feeding off of me being so embodied, you know, like I'll just hang out with you and like you'll kind of fix me or something, or like, you know, you'll have enough feelings for both of us. And I'm like, nope, I don't have to heal you. I don't have to feel your feelings for you. I don't have to process your shit for you. Like, I don't have to be here. But me speaking out loud to this guy was such a corrective experience because I was able to honor it within myself, recognize what was happening, and then choose to not be in connection anymore. And that felt really... It felt like it was healing that trauma because I basically told my inner child, like, yeah, I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to protect you. And then after that, I started to call in like these divine masculine men as friends because I needed to build this trust within myself that I could have these men in my life without, like, basically, you know, as a woman, especially me being me, who has always had really strong sexual energy, there's something in my life where it's really important for me to I'm like making sure I'm saying this the way I want it. It was like a corrective experience again. Like I had some trauma around the fact that like men only wanted me for, in the past at least, for my sexual energy or my beauty or whatever I could offer them. And so to allow myself to receive protection and provision and energetically showing up, and a man emotionally holding space for me and like not sleeping with them and not, you know, just receiving. And, you know, the reward is just by being in my energy as a woman. And, you know, of course, my nourishing, yummy, feminine energy. And that was enough. And that's like, that is a polarity balance right there. Like as a woman, you're the fucking goddess, you know, just by being. And as a woman, all you really need to do is like be more in your feminine energy, because the more you're in your feminine energy, the more it energetically fills the men up around you when you're in that yummy vibration. When you're feeling really good in your body, oh my God, it feels so good to be around a woman when she's feeling really good in her body. And like men just really love this. Even women, you know, like I have a lot of my girlfriends tell me like, Brittnee, just being around you, like I just want to be more in my feminine. I just feel like it's safe to be in my body. A lot of women don't feel like it's safe to be in their feminine energy because they've been programmed to believe that that equals an invitation for men to come on to you sexually. And it doesn't. When you're around the right men and they are out there. I have proven to myself, and I'm sharing this with you, that there's amazing men out there where you're in your feminine energy and they're just like, wow, you are a goddess, and I want to use my masculine energy to protect and literally create this energetic bubble around you so that you can just keep being a goddess and shining. And like, that is my reward, is to feel like I am showing up for you in a way that is making your life exponentially better. And so that kind of laid the safe foundation. And I feel like Sasha, I had a lot of these men in my life in the summer, but like Sasha coming, because he's like part of my core family and he's my soul family, and he's been here before, and he kind of was here on the island like when I was first stepping into my power, like really of like what I was doing with the play parties. And, you know, he's just been on my journey for a long time. In very pivotal moments. We've had a lot of adventures together when he lived here before, and we've gone through a lot. We've gone through death of friends and different relationships that we both have been in, supporting each other, and just a lot of things, right? And so to have him here, there was a part of my inner world that was a lot more energetically open to him than maybe the other men around me that are kind of more newer in my life. Like just basically like I trusted his energy more, and I trusted that he was safe and that he really doesn't want to sleep with me. He just wants to show up and provide for me. It like added one more layer of like nourishment and protection, and like that has helped me to drop into my feminine even more. And when you're in your feminine energy and you're just really feeling so yummy in your body, and this story is what happens when you're in that energy. Because basically I had made a list of like what I want and who I'm attracting in. And when you're in that energy, you're as a feminine woman, you don't need to go out and do anything. That's you being your masculine. You just need to vibe. You just need to like be, like literally just be the goddess, and then everything comes to you, which is the story I'm about to share with you. So, you know, there's a beach on on Koh Phangan, my island on Koh Phangan. I'm saying my island in the sense like Bali is not my island, as in it's not my home. So on Koh Phangan, there is a beach that we all go to for sunset. And it has like a part of the beach that's naked. We call it Naked Beach. And that's like pretty much where I go when it's sunny every day, when I take Afro there and I meet all my friends and I go for a swim. So Sasha was like, I want to go to the beach. And then I'm like, yeah, I want to go too. But like, I just want to make sure it's not raining. It's been raining off and on. You know, it's the end of rainy season. And so we had gone to the gym, and then we went and did errands separately, and then we were going to meet up at the beach. And so I went home, and I always dress as if I am going to meet the love of my life. I do this for myself just because I really love to like dress like a goddess and like flow around in all my pretty dresses. And also, you know, I want the story to be when I'm meeting my future husband, that we can tell our kids, like, you know, when I met your mom, she was just like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and she was just flowing through the world. Like, that's the story we're going to tell our kids. And so for me, it's also just part of like living out my little highest timeline, not little, my big highest timeline. And so I like put on this beautiful dress. I'm like feeling my energy. I'm just like vibing with myself in my villa. And then I'm about to leave the house, and it starts pouring. And I'm like, fuck. Okay. So I don't feel like driving to the beach, and I don't feel like going to the beach, because if it's raining, like, what are you going to do at the beach? Just sit there in the rain? Like, that doesn't make sense. So then I changed into basically my pajamas, like an oversized black t-shirt that I wear to bed that says like Los Angeles on it. And I just like grabbed my umbrella and I walked Afro around my neighborhood. Where I live now, it has like a really great like nature area, and like I can actually just walk her, which is something I've always been manifesting, because the collective, you couldn't just like go outside and go for a walk. It was like right on the main road, which was nice because it was close to everything. But I mean, my villa is still close to everything. But anyways, there wasn't like a proper good walking situation. But here where I live now, or in my villa in Koh Phangan where I live, is like really great walking situation. And so I went for a walk, and then Sasha got to the beach, and he was like, it's amazing, like this, or like it's not raining, it's an amazing sunset, come. Because the rain has just been coming and going, and like no one knows what's going on. And I was so tired, because him and I have been like working out a lot, and then we all been hanging out with all my friends and stayed up really late. And then I've been, you know, I was doing normal life things like work and stuff. So my energy was very low, and I was like, okay, he only leaves I'm leaving for Bali soon. And then he leaves while I'm in Bali. So I want to go because I want to see him. And also I just love Sasha. So if he's like, just come, I'm like, okay, I'm going to come. I'm coming. That's how I felt. Like, it's like, okay, I'm coming. And so, I ordered like Thai food takeaway on the way because I thought I'm really hungry. We went to the gym. I want to just eat on the beach. And mind you, I'm still in my oversized black t-shirt. But this is something I'll put as a caveat to like dressing as if you're going to meet the love of your life, is that like if you're really deeply in your feminine energy, you could literally wear a trash bag and you would still be like vibing so hard that like everyone around you would feel this energy. And that's kind of how I felt in that moment. I was like, I even thought to myself, even if I meet the love of my life right now, I don't fucking care because I feel so yummy in my body and he's going to feel that energy. And that's all that really matters. You know, a lot of times we put clothes on to help us upgrade our energy energetically. Like it is true. When I put on a nice dress, I feel more in my feminine energy because it just like right now, my kimono is so soft and it's just like, I got like a lot of really nice clothes here in Bali. So anyways, I picked up my Thai food. I went to the beach. And when I got to the beach, I realized I forgot to bring, like I usually bring a fork from home because I don't want to use plastic. I forgot to bring my fork. I didn't get any chopsticks at the Thai place. And so I'm walking to the beach and there's a guy walking in front of me, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was like messaging Sasha, like, where are you on the beach? And then I was like trying to decide, should I go to the bar? Because my friend owns the bar at this beach and I was going to borrow like a fork or something from him. And so I'm like, this guy stops and I'm just like walking back and forth behind him because I'm trying to decide, should I go meet Sasha or like go to the bar? And then he just kind of like turns around and looks at me and I'm like, and I look at him for the first time and I'm like, oh, hi. And I kind of just do this little giggle because I'm like I wasn't expecting this. And basically he's like 200 meters tall and like built like a fucking mountain and just so beautiful. And I like, it has been a very long time for me to have a bodily reaction where I literally don't have words. Like my superpower is talking. Like I could just talk all day long and I can be very like, you know, persuasive with my words and, you know, all the things. Like this is something I love. But with him, I was just like, oh, hi. Yeah. And he's like, kind of like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, you know, like I need to get a fork. But then I was like, and then it was just funny because I just like, and then I was thinking in my head, what the fuck are you doing, Brittnee? Like what are you, like, why are you acting like this? And then I kind of like snapped out of it and I was like, okay, I'm going to go like, bye. And then he's like, hey, I don't want you to leave. Like something like come back, you know, like I don't want this to be the end of this moment. And I was just like, okay. Because the thing is, like, with really powerful women, you actually want a man that, like, your energy feels safe to be in your feminine submissive. And I'm saying this, like, on this the fine line of this person honors and respects you. It's like, you know, we don't want to be abused or anything, but, like, you want to feel led energetically. And so with this guy, already I was just like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go meet a friend. And he was like, I'd love to spend more time with you. And I was like, actually, yeah. He was like, do you want that too? I'm like, yeah, I do. And we just kept like looking at each other. And I swear there was so much energy being shared between us. And I just had this feeling like I felt like I knew him from like a past life. And again, I know when people say this, it's usually like, that's a karmic connection, but I really believe that all of us have soul contracts where we're meant to meet each other in this timeline. Like before we come into this incarnation, we talk to each other and we're like, hey, I'm going to meet up with you around this time in your life and we're going to do this thing and we're going to learn this lesson together and blah, blah, blah. I felt like he was definitely one of these people for me. So I went and got a fork. We went over and sat with Sasha and some other friends. And it was just such a, like, his energy next to me, we were both just like vibrating so hard. And you know, and like Sasha's talking to me, my friends are talking, we're having like these normal conversations, but below the surface I'm like really excited, like super excited. And at the same time I'm feeling very safe in my body, so my excitement is a positive thing, right? So yeah. So like it's like this is what I was saying, like if it is someone where you feel excited around, but then you also feel anxious, that's trauma bond. If you feel excited and you just also feel safe, that's like, I'm into this person and it's a healthy thing. So him and I were talking, and I find out that he's like from Poland originally, but he moved to like Germany when he was 15. And I'm just laughing so hard in my head because I've told my girlfriends I do not want to ever date another German person again. Like, I'm good. I feel like I have like energetically filled my karma for this lifetime when it comes to German men. And, they also say what you resist persists. So I was just like laughing because he's like basically half German culturally. Like, he's Polish by nationality, but he speaks German, and he is from, like, he grew up in Germany half his life. Anyway, so it's just funny. And then Sasha and I were like, what are we going to do now? Like, it's getting dark. And he's like, let's just go back to yours and like invite friends over again. I was like, okay. And then I turned to this guy and I'm like, do you want to come with us? And he was like, yeah, actually I do. I want to spend some more time with you. Are you like, would you want that? I was like, well, I'm not inviting you if I didn't want it, but yeah, come. So he comes over to my house, and wow, we all just kind of get like, there's probably 5, 6 of us, and we all just get into there's probably 7 of us. We all get into like this big cuddle puddle. Like, basically I put 2 twin mattresses and made it into this really beautiful soft day bed by my pool, and we all just like lay there. So it's basically like a queen bed, and there's 7 of us just like very tightly compacted together. And him and I are just cuddling and talking, and the chemistry, like, you can probably feel it in my body right now, but like the chemistry connection, and like we're talking about emotional things, we're talking about spiritual things, we're talking about like just life things. And then I got up to make some tea, and he came with me. I was like, do you want to come make some tea with me? And he was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, okay. Like, oh, like I just like totally in my inner girl mode, just like, okay, yeah, which is a positive thing for me, because usually in my community, yeah, that is like, I'm usually the mom of the community. So with him, I do not feel that. I feel like, oh, what's happening now? Okay, what's happening? Just totally in my like inner little girl coming out and just feeling excited, and also still in my queen mode, like I was in my house. This is my villa, like I was showing him my house, and he was like, wow, this is super impressive. Like, good job, like accomplishing this and stuff. So anyways, we're in the kitchen, I'm making tea, and he's just like, I literally feel like my hands are shaking, because like he's like, I just feel so much energy going through my body around you. And he's like, I'm almost speechless because you're so beautiful, and I don't really know what to do right now. All I want to do is like kiss you. And he's like, but we're around your friends and all this stuff. And I was like, well, my friends don't really care, but actually for me, I am the one who cares, because I host so many play parties and do everything. I have experienced a lot of group sexuality, and I am very comfortable around my friends all making out, or we're just hanging out, and like, whatever, like, just be yourself, do whatever's flowing. But it's interesting, because I have been around this environment for so many years now, it's actually really special for me to do something in private with someone, because it just feels like, basically whatever you were used to, having the opposite feels kinky. This is what I've decided. So I said to him, like, yeah, we could just go upstairs for a little bit. And he was like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess we're going. So then we go upstairs, and he like closes the door, and then he comes over to me, and he just like grabs my hair and like pulls me. And again, he's 200 meters tall, so I have to like reach up on my tiptoes to kiss him. But I don't really need to do that in this moment, because he's just like pulling me into him and like I'm like unfolding into him, and I'm just like, okay, this is happening. And then he just like picks me up and like throws me on the bed, and we like make out for a while. And oh, our body chemistry is just so amazing, and he just knows exactly what to do. And I'm just like, okay. Like, again, I'm just like, it's happening, this is great. And then I just said to him, I was like, I don't want to have sex today. Like I actually haven't had sex since September, and I'm really happy with that. Like, I feel really good. And if someone is going to come into my body, they better have earned the right to it. Yeah, we can make out, but like, do you even deserve to be in my body? Like, have you shown up for me? Do you have a track record of like consistent action over time, where you're like wanting to be a man in my life who is like protecting and providing for me and making my life exponentially better? We literally just met. And he was like, yeah, okay, I honor that. And so we ended up going back downstairs and sitting on like a big chair next to my friends. We're all cuddling, and he just like wraps me in his lap, and like we just cuddle for longer and talk to my friends. And then he was like, okay, I need to go home and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, I'm going to Bali next week. And, and he was like, then at this moment we realized like we do not have each other's number. And I was like, we have just been through so much, like energetically, emotionally. We talked a lot about our emotions when we were upstairs and what we were both going through. And I had a little cry, and he was like holding me. And I just felt like we had like a whole relationship in these like 5 hours that we ended up spending together. And I was just laughing because I was like, and we don't even have each other's number. Like, I don't even know your last name. It was just funny. And so anyways, he got my WhatsApp, and I was just like, okay, I'll let you message me. And he's like, oh, I'm definitely going to message you. And I was like, okay. So yeah, again, I have no expectations of what happens with this man. It just, for me, it felt like a really big vibrational marker that like I am on track with attracting in the man that I want to be with in my life, because at least like I would have to, with this guy, I would have to really have a lot more experiences with him to understand if like he actually does meet me on an emotional level, a spiritual level, a physical level. But I would say from at least an energetic and like a first impression spiritual connection and first impression physical connection, we definitely match each other and exceed each other's expectations. I mean, that's also what he was saying. So just celebrating that. But the reason why I shared the story with Sasha first is because I felt like being around these safe men, and Sasha and other men that are in my life right now is like divine masculine friends that are male friends that are showing up for me. It helped me to feel safe enough to open my feminine energy to the point where I was attracting in a vibrational match for me. And, a lot of women and men, but I'm going to speak to women right now because a lot of women feel unsafe to really step into this, like basically unsafe to open up. And so if you're not really opening up, you're not in your magnetism, you're not attracting in what you actually desire. And so you're just sitting there on the couch like, where are all the good men? And I'm like, there are so many of them out there, but you do not have vibrational space to hold them in your life, because you don't believe they exist. But in order to believe they exist from a romantic standpoint, sometimes, at least in my case, it was a lot easier for me to open my vibrational reality to platonic male friends first. And this is why I was saying with Sasha, it felt like we were kind of dating, but in a platonic way, like emotionally dating each other. And for me, that was kind of a beta test of like, am I ready for a romantic connection right now in this stage of my life? Like, of course, I've been ready. I've been in many, many relationships, but I'm a new person. And like where I'm at right now, I have new standards and I deserve even more, because I value myself even more. I understand my worth. And I'm also very, very okay with being on my own. So something got to be better than this, because my life is fucking amazing. So just sharing this with you. And there's so much more I want to say, but I realized I didn't even get to the story about how I got to Bali. So I'm going to make another podcast and share all about that. I just wanted to catch you up first about these yummy romantic things that are happening. And yeah, such juicy vibes. Okay, I'm going to make another podcast and tell you the story about Bali. So stay tuned for that. And I have another play party coming up January 11th. Please reach out to me on Instagram, or you can look in my highlight reel on Instagram for Vanilla Vanilla, and you'll see the form to sign up. We have people booking like 2 or 3 play parties at a time. Like, hey, can I come for January 11th, the 25th, and February 8th, and I'll pay right now. So like all of the play parties for the next 3 months are like getting pretty full. So if you're interested to come and you're coming to Koh Phangan, please reach out, please book, because I actually have a capacity. I can host a lot of people in my house, but I actually have a capacity limit of how much I want to host in my lab, like how many people I actually will fit, which is about 60 people. So, and last time we had people, it was already full and we had people on the waiting list. So we had over 60 people and we had more on the waiting list. And we're just barely at the beginning of high season. So I'm excited. Let's go for all the juiciness, all the yummy healing, all of the playing. And I hope you all have a beautiful day.